Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp at the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. Dr. Joe Salustio back with you here on day 3 of the Anthology Together Conference here at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Boy, oh boy, have there been a lot of people moving around at this conference, going to sessions, eating food, going to after events, going to the exhibit hall, lots of connections, lots of networking, and lots of great guests here on the EdUp Experience podcast. If you've been following us, of course, you can catch all these episodes at www.edupexperience.com. I have another amazing guest in front of me today. In fact, we're going to go outside of the United States just a little bit to talk to this guest I have with me. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Dr. Cuauhtemoc Godoy, and he's the Associate Dean at the College of Engineering at Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. What is going on, Temo? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Did they prepare you for this, or they just said, go over and sit down and podcast?
Well, I was told that I was going to be interviewed for a podcast.
No, that's me.
All right.
That's me. I'm going to interview. So tell us about the Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. What do you guys do, and how do you do it?
Sure.
We know you're in Puerto Rico. We figured that part out.
Yes. Well, we're in the metropolitan area of San Juan. We are a small institution. We have 3 campuses, one in San Juan, one in Orlando, and one in Miami.
San Juan, Orlando, Miami. Okay.
The main campus is San Juan, and we have about 42 to 4,300 students, 4,200 to 4,300 students. So we're mostly an engineering school. 80% of our students are in engineering. And we have a School of Architecture. We have a School of Business and Entrepreneuring, as well as a graduate school and a School of Education.
And do you do associate degrees, bachelor degrees?
We do have associate degrees, bachelor degrees, and master's and PhD.
And so you've been working there a very short time then, right?
Yes, only close to 37 years.
37 years. You were 5 years old when you started working there, because you're only 42 years old now. So 37 years. So what was the university like when you started 37 years ago?
Well, we're a humble institution. When I arrived there, we had about 1,200 students and only 3 programs. Those were a bachelor's in land surveying, a bachelor's of science in civil engineering, and a bachelor's of science in industrial engineering. Those were the 3 programs we had.
With about 1,000 students now, 37 years later, you've got 5,000 students. That's pretty good growth. You have engineering programs, 80% in engineering and other programs, and you're in 3 locations, 2 U.S. cities, 1 in Puerto Rico. That's amazing. How do you feel about the university today? How are things going? COVID, end of COVID, blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's not only COVID. If we go back a little bit, you might remember in 2017 we had Hurricane Maria.
Yeah, Hurricane Maria.
A Cat 5 category hurricane, which destroyed the infrastructure, the power infrastructure of the island. So we had to rely in means to.
And students disappeared, right? I mean, they just disappeared because of their families, or just
some of them transferred to our Florida campuses. But those who were able to get some connection to the internet, we were supported by Blackboard.
Yeah.
We continued our courses through Blackboard. And even we extended the date of the semester in order for them to complete their courses through Blackboard. Even though they were registering face-to-face courses, we allowed them to, we put them at the instructional content of the course in the Blackboard platform, and they finished the course that way. After that, you might remember that we were hit by earthquakes.
Yep.
So that's another event. And after that, the pandemic. So it's been
and now
5
inflation,
years.
gas prices.
Yikes!
It continues to go on, and so students persevere, right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, even though we in general universities in Puerto Rico are struggling because of decrease in population, well, that has meant a decrease in students, elementary level, intermediate level, high school, and enrollment has been going down for most universities.
Mm-hmm.
luckily for our institution, we have been able to remain mostly around the same numbers. We were about 4,500, we're around 4,300. So those are the numbers in San Juan, in addition to, to those in Florida.
So what are you doing here at the conference? So you use Blackboard at Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. Blackboard's acquired by Anthology. Now, are you transitioning to Anthology products? Are you going to be adding on Anthology products? Are you here to expand your knowledge, see what's going on, find out how this affects you in the university?
Well, Blackboard is a big luxurious car, and you need to learn to use all the capabilities of Blackboard. And we have little by little been using those capabilities, learning what we can do with those, and it's amazing. But we still have to learn, so it takes time. Not only for us to learn about the capabilities, but
Level
then
up.
we have to train faculty on how to use them and transfer those to students. So it takes time, planning, resources, but we're doing fine. We have uh, gone from asynchronous courses, which were the instructional content was mostly text and images.
Yep.
And now we are using videos with Lightboard or lecture capture, and we are now introducing a virtual reality and augmented reality. So
yeah, that's and you know what? That everybody talks about AR and VR, and it's when you think about it in a very advanced way. But when you implement AR and VR, it can be very simple to enhance the learning opportunities. And engineering seems like one of the fields where you can really imagine the future.
definitely, it's not the same thing to see a diagram in 2 dimensions than to see it in 3 dimensions. So AR VR is going to be amazing for the teaching learning process.
So you've gone through 2 days of the conference, well, 2.5 days of the conference. This is day 3. What are your big takeaways so far? Is it networking? Is it big tweaks that you want to make to the small tweaks you want to make to the system? Is it big, bright realizations that you've had? What are your big takeaways so far?
Well, it's easy to me to answer that because I had some things in mind. I came here for solutions. I came here for networking, and at the same time, I was looking for entertainment. And I found all those at the conference. This is a great conference. This is one of the best conferences I have ever attended.
Ever attended?
Yes.
Well, that is a great compliment to Anthology and the hard work of the staff here to put this together. It has been a amazing conference. I'm watching people around here networking. Networking is really important, right? Because people are going through the same things that you're going through, whether it's learning how to evolve the system, how to learn it better, learning add-ons and so on. Have you been able to meet people that are in the same kind of spot and area as you?
Oh, sure. I have been able to attend the, I don't know how to pronounce it, LATAM Summit, which is the summit for Latin American and Caribbean universities. And that was a great event where I was able to meet colleagues from institutions in South America and Central America, but also because I was able to make connections to be discussing possible alliances between our institutions, maybe 2+2 programs and so on.
Nailed it.
So are you going to be going to this big party tomorrow tonight?
Yeah, I
Cheers. Cheers.
Okay, well, so what makes this a successful conference? You say this is one of the best conferences you've ever been to. When you get on the plane to go home tomorrow, back to Puerto Rico, and you look back on this, you're going to say it was successful because of what?
Well, I have a big list of things to do, follow-up action items. So I'm going to be passing on to my team the potential solutions. We're going to be contacting possible suppliers. I'm going to be presenting reports to management on what's the lookout for not only Blackboard, but other technologies. There's so many things. It's a big agenda of what I have going back home.
What's the state of engineering programs these days? Do students want to be engineers? Are you getting more students wanting to be engineers? There's a need for engineers always, right? But you would think that it's one of the biggest needs we need to fill right now?
Well, you have to put that question in context because in Puerto Rico, one of the main drivers of the economy is manufacturing. We have a large number of high-tech manufacturing plants. We have pharmaceutical companies, medical device, about 45 manufacturing plants in pharmaceutical products, about 65 manufacturing plants of medical devices. We have one of the largest biotechnology manufacturing plants, Amgen, which has
Amgen,
about
yeah.
five buildings with over 1,100,000 employees. So in Puerto Rico, it's a big thing, engineering. In general, in Latin America, engineering, law, and medicine are big careers. So there's always a student looking for those careers.
What's the fastest growing one of your campuses that you have? Do you think?
Well, San Juan.
San Juan is.
And San Juan is, but in the online modality.
You know what's interesting about
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. We just last year we completed. We were approved. We got approval for the Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering and the Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering, the online modalities.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Love that. Online, so they should be growing pretty quick now.
Yeah, we haven't really made lots of marketing, but the first term we had 7 students, the second 23, and the third one we had 84.
Wow, that's great growth. Congratulations. You know, I ask that question because, and I didn't know this, Elvin. I don't know if you know this. I believe the stat is like 92% of the population in Puerto Rico has an undergraduate degree. It's like one of the most educated populations of people on the face of the earth. So the reason I ask about how things going at your San Juan campus is because you wonder what the demand is there when everybody's really highly educated.
Well, the thing is that, as I said, the population is going down, and we have to look for students outside of the island. And that's the reason for our emphasis on the online programs and making alliances with universities outside of Puerto Rico, either on mainland USA or in Latin America or the Caribbean.
And a lot of people in Puerto Rico have doctorate degrees. So whenever you meet somebody from Puerto Rico, you know they're going to be chances are they've got a doctorate degree, which is amazing. But I didn't know that about Puerto Rico. But that is one of the big kind of things that Puerto Rico is proud of, is the fact that it has a very highly educated population, and there are a lot of schools and there's a lot of competition down in Puerto Rico.
Yes,
I heard a stat that there was one school in every 5 miles there was a school offering something. Is it highly competitive as people say?
Yes, it is.
Simply that. Yikes. Well, that's that means that you must have some kind of niche, and you have engineering, right? You guys are an engineering school. That's what you push towards. So what are you going to do with your systems as you go back? You got big changes you want to make with Blackboard, with Anthology?
Well, certainly. One of the major changes is that we have to put a lot of effort and to go from the basic learn to base navigate, and then put on plan the going to ultra. So that's our major intent at this moment.
So you have big things you have to do, sir.
Yes,
in your
yes.
38th year at the university, at the Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. Are you going to retire there?
Sometime.
I'm
having fun.
He's having fun, and he will not stop, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is again. His name is Dr. Cuauhtemoc Godoy, and he's the Associate Dean of the College of Engineering at Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. Did you have a good podcast experience today with me, Cuauhtemoc?
Very much.
Very much so. Well, we appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp'd.